Hello and welcome to your red button content for this week. We're going to talk ACL. I guess we'd normally have a joke at this point, but the performances during the week weren't that funny, so I think we'll just skip that and move on to talk about the football. Was it 4 games, 2 defeats, 1 draw,
and
1 win?
One last gasp win, yeah.
And quite possibly
4
it's
teams
looking
going
like
out.
no Korean teams in the next round.
Is that what the funeral music was about? The death of Korean football.
Exactly, that's it.
I mean,
you know when you're worse than the J League, it's time to give up.
It's quite funny because we were hugely optimistic last Monday. Obviously, there was some beer involved in that optimism, but
Beer goggles.
But we were hugely optimistic about it. I mean, I think I said 4 teams. I think Steve, you said 3. Paul, you said 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
In the end, it's going to be 0.
It's amazing the difference that actually playing the games can make.
Yeah.
We should actually do all our predictions after the matches, although we'd probably still be wrong.
Probably still be. I mean, I don't really know where to start with ACL. I mean,
Let's start
Toss a coin.
let's start with the best of the shit results. John Beijing, I guess.
Did you see the game?
John Beijing, I feel like I did, but I don't know if I did or not.
Now we're watching Suwon.
Yeah, I watched Suwon, yeah, actually, I watched Suwon on TV.
Did you see the game, Paul?
No, I watched Suwon.
This is going to be an insightful piece of commentary. The John Book game.
I did see...
Dayan scored though, didn't he? Did he?
Yeah, Dylan scored, yeah. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Actually, no, he didn't. That's right, he didn't. It was...
Hardy song?
No, that was a Chinese guy, I think. No, it wasn't. It was a foreigner. I have no idea. Can we restart this? Because I really fucking don't know who scored. I don't remember.
Let's just keep going. Should explain at this point that we've got the Ulsan Puan game on our computer, so we don't have access to the usual plethora of stats that we do.
So we're distracted, and that's our excuse. Yeah. Plus, also we're sober. That's maybe the problem.
I think that's the problem, yeah.
If we'd had a few more beers, all the stats would have been rolling off our tongue.
I'd have confidently said it was Dehan and not second guess myself. I have no idea who scored for Beijing.
If we'd had a few more deers, we'd have a few more deers.
A
few more old deers.
Wasn't that how Saturday night ended? For some of us, at least.
I think we better get some beer in.
I think we need some beer, guys. We can't do it sober. Anyway, it was Beijing 1, John Book 1. Anyway, that much is true.
To be fair, when we were having our preview last week, we did say that there was a high chance of this being a draw.
I think the thing I'd said that was a high chance of it being a draw. I think I did say it was the hardest game for any Korean team as well, which was obviously proven to be wrong. But yeah, I think we did say it was going to be a draw. I mean, I think we actually said it was going to be a scoring draw as well, which obviously it was. I mean, John Book. I do know it was a penalty that Beijing equalised with,
and it was quite late on, wasn't it?
The last 5 or 10 minutes or so. I think John Book thought that they had it wrapped up. But I mean, even then, like 1-0 at home was not going to be a particularly strong result to take to China anyway. But now it's 1 each. I mean, you've got to say that John Book obviously have to score in Beijing, but you can't not see Beijing scoring either. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to imagine John Book would get 2. I think
it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, 1 each as a standalone result, 1 each against Beijing's not that bad. If it was a group game, you'd say decent result.
Decent result, yeah.
Because it's a knockout and they've lost the away goal, they're up against it. It depends what John Book turns up. If it's the John Book that turns up in the K-League and scooshes games every week, they can easily win in Beijing.
Well, the one thing is that Han Kyo-won won't be playing in Beijing, so I guess they won't have to wear headgear, the Beijing players, do you know what I mean? I think that's amazing that he actually has been actually dropped by the club for this game as punishment, even though he is eligible to play.
Maybe they should just unleash him on the Beijing team though before the
match.
Probably
will, man. They'll probably take him. They'll probably back down on that one, but yeah. I mean, you've got to imagine John Boog probably scored 2, I reckon. Yeah, to have any chance of. Thanks, Paul. I like that feedback in my prediction there.
So I was just keeping my eye on the Pohang Ulsan game.
You touching Paul under the table again, Mark?
Watch this strike.
Isn't that how Saturday ended as well?
The Pohang striker completely skied it.
Yeah, he's been taking tips off Thiago. But yeah, I mean, let's move on to the hilarity that there was Suwon, though.
Before we move on then, so what's our prediction then? John Book have got to go to Beijing
And score 2, I reckon.
They've got 120 minutes to score 2 goals, basically, provided they get
Provided
one.
they get one in the first 90, yes.
Yeah. So
That was an amazing stat there, Paul. I liked that. I was like, what, that one out there? I was like, what, how? But yeah.
It's almost like Paul knows the rules of the game, isn't it?
Almost, yeah. I reckon, yeah. I think it's going to be a tough one, and I think John Book will probably go out. I can't see them beating Beijing.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. They won't beat them, but they'll get the goal they need to take it through to extra time, and they'll win on penalties.
I can see it going to extra time and penalties, and then...
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess if it goes to penalties, it's a bit of a lottery. Any team can win. So, okay, maybe I'll side with Paul in this one. And
I mean, John Book have definitely got the strike power to score a goal in Beijing.
I'd agree there. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely expect John Book to go there and score. It's whether they concede.
Should be a good open game though, shouldn't it?
And maybe Dejan will score this time.
Again,
or not. Maybe.
Dejan might do the double.
He might do the double, yeah. Well, Pohan should have said that, do you know what I mean?
Well, they are at the moment. The double
oh,
loss.
yes, yeah, double loss, yeah.
Alright, so John Book was not even 50-50, but we think they'll get a chance.
They've probably got the best chance of all 4.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with that, but okay.
Alright, so moving on. Suwon.
The best chance is Songnam, but anyway, we'll talk about Songnam's game, yeah?
So moving on to Suwon. That wasn't a very good result at all, was it?
It depends on your point of view. I was enjoying it, to be honest.
Well, you were wanting Suwon to make it through to the final.
So yeah, but when it came to reality...
To be fair, it's a lot. Think about the last time these two sides played at
Oh
Suwon,
God, here we go again.
which is a key stat that we probably should have mentioned last week, but last time
We did.
we didn't mention it.
The only thing Paul knows about the ACL.
Is it Racel beat them 6-2, yeah? Oh wow,
Oh!
that was a cracking strike.
Equaliser.
What a strike. For the
that
same
the
guy who
same guy?
skied it 5 minutes ago. That was amazing. Wow, that was a...
That's a different guy.
Oh yeah, that's Kimson Gray, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. 2 each.
Two
Game
each.
on.
So Suwon. So I guess the last time what we talked about, if Paul didn't edit it out, was Jung. And Jung was going to be the saviour for Suwon. How did he do?
I think we just discussed how terrible he was.
Yeah, I think we said you're never going to win anything with Jung, and Paul edited it out.
No, I left that in actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't honestly remember the third goal, but definitely the first goal was probably savable, and the penalty was definitely savable. I think definitely he should have saved that penalty. Yeah, it was kind of pretty close to him.
He often, when you watch him take saving free kicks or things, he looks like he always sort of holds back rather than stretching fully. And I'm sure he really can't be doing that, but he just looks like that.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty definitely looked as if it was close enough to any goalkeeper to be saved.
Yeah.
An average goalkeeper, never mind one who's supposed to be or was at one point the career number 1. He should definitely have got a hand to that. Maybe it still went in, but he should have at least got a hand to it, which he didn't. I don't remember the third goal, to be honest, but I think at that point I was running around my living room.
By their foreigner, wasn't it? That.
More great insight. I don't know what his name is. Yeah, it was definitely him.
Yeah, it was.
Because he scored 2 of the goals, didn't he?
Oh, potentially.
Yeah, I'm sure he scored 2 goals. But
Are you sure you guys actually watched the game?
did
I know
watch
for a
it.
fact that I'd missed all the
Honestly,
goals.
I watched the game. I actually watched both games. I watched Beijing. John Book was on Naver on my phone, and I was watching Suwon.
well, that explains everything. You're watching
Racel.
both and watching neither.
But I don't remember who scored Racel's third goal. I don't remember who scored Suwon's goals either. I think
Yum Ki-hoon.
Yum Ki-hoon scored the first one. He scored the first one, which was in 2 minutes. So Suwon took the lead pretty early on, and that was definitely Yum Ki-hoon who scored the first one.
I mean, I was out working, I came back late, and it was 3-2 by the time I got home.
Yeah.
But the last 20-25 minutes were all Suwon. And they could have equalised.
Yeah, they could have done.
Right at the,
If you know what went on, why have you been staying silent so far? Well, letting us make
I
tips of
missed all
ourselves.
the goals, that's what I'm saying. You guys saw the goals, and I missed them.
I mean, Suwon could have equalised, but I mean, I think, to be honest, I mean, I'm going to say it like 3-2, 3 each. There was a difference really at that point in time. Do you know what I mean? I know it's one goal, but like, at that time, they're probably you would have to say that they're out. I mean, like, you'd have to imagine Seoul would have like just slightly more of a chance than Seoul getting through, but it's still zero
Looking
chance.
difficult, isn't it? They've got to go and
that way. Although,
score 2 more.
They've scored 2 more, yeah.
Yeah, but Kashiwa are not a great side. I mean, if you look at their form in Japan, it's been pretty dreadful. And it's not unusual for them to lose a couple of goals or lose 3 goals. So,
I mean, they
Seoul are not dead. It's going to take a damn good effort for them to get through.
So, on the other hand, I think they are dead. I mean, which is quite interesting because having watched like Gamba, like both Gamba Songnam games, I was really surprised that Gamba were even capable of scoring 1 goal, never mind 3. But I was at the Songnam game with a guy called Jamie who knows quite a bit about Japanese football. And he has said that when Gamba came over to play Songnam that they actually didn't bring a full strength team. And that the Gamba that me and you saw, Stevie, at Tanchon was actually like a very weakened team.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that might explain a little bit more as to why...
So they weren't rubbish, they were just really arrogant.
Yeah.
We could beat Songnam with half our team missing.
Well, I mean, I guess Songnam had just lost 2-1 to Buriram and had looked horrendous in that game, so I guess that's why they thought that. But they definitely showed... I mean, I think up until Gamba scored their first goal, it was a pretty even game, Paul, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Seoul held their own in the first half. They had a couple of decent chances, which their non-Jumez striking managed to put high, wide and handsome. And they came out in the second half. And then, I mean, I've said in recent reviews of Seoul that even though the results have picked up, the performance is still the same, and it's basically down to the efficiency of the opposing strike force, right? So last week, Cheonnam had their chances, didn't take them. This week, Gamba had their chances and they took each and every one. Some decent finishing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to escalate really quickly because I switched it off at 1-0 and then I couldn't believe it when I looked again and the final score was 3-1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a very makeshift defence. So he's got one guy that's only been playing for the last couple of weeks because Jingyu's out, and another guy who's making his debut for the season. And none of the foreigners played. Well, none of the foreigners started. Osmar didn't play at all. So, I mean, it was definitely a makeshift defence, but still no excuse for losing 3-0. I mean, in his pre-match press conference, what was the one thing that Che emphasised?
Keep it tight.
We keep it tight, don't concede any, go to Japan at 0-0, and we'll be confident. Right, see, that was the thrust of his press conference. Go out and concede 3 goals. And guy should be out of a job as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it has to be said, I mean, like, Usami is a pretty sweet striker, though. I mean, I don't know if he played at Tanchon. I think he did play in Osaka when I was there, but I mean, he kind of ran so ragged. I mean, both his goals were pretty smart finishes.
And it could have been worse, Paul, couldn't it? If it wasn't for an intervention by the referee.
Yes.
Was that a brown envelope moment, do you think?
It was just so funny. Like, it was probably in about the first 10 minutes, and Seoul had a really poor clearance which went straight to the Gamba player, and as he was shaping up to strike, the referee just tripped him over and sent him flying. It was a definite penalty, definite red card.
Get the referee off,
sent himself off.
Should have done.
So yeah, I texted to you guys that this had happened, and you said it had exploded all over Twitter.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, just minutes after it happened, there was videos and tweets about it. It just went viral on Twitter. This idea that like the referee pulling down or tripping, the Gamba player. Yeah,
it was absolutely hilarious. Probably the only time I laughed all night. But
I mean, at that point, so we're keeping it pretty tight as well. Yeah, so I think. I guess this might be a futile question, but what are their chances in Japan, Paul?
Well, I think it was pretty clear that on last week they were afraid to shoot. They'd clearly got the team talk that we need to keep it tight, don't be too adventurous up front, and they didn't really look like scoring. And once they go to Japan, they've really got to go for it, right? So you would assume they're going to
Going to concede 5 this time.
Score 2 and concede 5 and crash out. Yeah, it's really. We'll see. I mean, if it was the old Seoul, you'd say they might have a chance if they had Dejan and Molina firing up front. Then,
Yeah.
But you can't really see where they're going to score 3 goals unreplied. And of course, every time that.
But Osmar's back though, yeah. I mean, he'll be back in the team. No.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he's a massively attacking player. That's
No, but I mean, in terms of like Hansen, the defence,
maybe
he'll kind of like keep it a bit tighter.
Yeah, I mean, Seoul are famous for not revealing any details about player injuries or why people have been rested or when they're going to be coming back. So you don't really know what the team's going to be until they actually pick it. But you'd assume that if he's fit, he'll be playing. I hope they pick Seoul did actually get a consolation goal in the 92nd minute from Yoon Ju-tae, who's probably the best striker we've got, and nobody understands why he hardly ever plays. He sort of tends to come on in the last 10 minutes and score a goal and then disappear for a couple of weeks, and hopefully he'll be playing from the start this time.
I'm assuming Park Chu-young is actually still ineligible.
He's eligible from the quarterfinals, I heard.
Oh, okay, quarterfinal stage.
So if they do actually get through this, then he'll lead the team to glory in the remaining few games. But yeah.
To be honest, if they do come back from this, I think you might as well bet on them winning the whole competition.
Oh yeah, you would have to think so, wouldn't you?
Well, it did come out of Sangam when they were like holding collection buckets for the massive brown envelope that's necessary to get a 3-0 winner. If they get 3 penalties in the first half, then we can start looking for corruption.
Especially if the referee takes one.
Your
best bet of scoring.
It's a pretty sad day when you actually miss Escudero, yeah? I mean, it's like, please come back.
I think at least 2 of the 3 goals came down Chowdhury's channel as well,
They
right?
did, yeah.
So,
I mean, the first and second goal were copycats. It was both rampaging runs down the left wing and Cha standing in the other box, advertising a refrigerator.
So, Seoul going to Japan? No, not going to do it.
highly unlikely.
And then the last game, Mark, you were there.
I was there, yes.
See the glorious victory.
I was there. I was there to see us take on the might of Asia. I was like, I think before the game, I think people would have taken a nothing each, to be perfectly honest, you know what I mean? But Guangzhou started well. They had a couple of chances in the first 10 minutes. They were missing quite a lot of their stronger players. They did have Goulart, Ricardo Goulart, I think his name is, who's like their top scorer. But they were missing like, is it Allen his name is? The guy who they bought from Salzburg. So they were missing like a few kind of big players. They had a couple of chances. Then Songnam kind of got a little bit of a grip of the game. Should have taken a lead in 10 minutes and then again in 12 minutes when they had like two pretty easy chances. First one was Jorginho, second one was Nam Jun-jae. But then Jorginho scored a great goal set up by Kim Do-hyun. And then after that, like Guangzhou never really looked that great. The equaliser came from like one of those shots that if you took another 100 times, the guy would put it like, you know, over the stand or out at the corner flag. I mean, it was just a world-class strike from like 30 yards that kind of curled and dipped over the top of Park. And I mean, it was a great strike, but they kind of like one of those ones that you know he would miss every other time he tried it.
Yeah.
Then the kind of second half was pretty bad. I mean, like Evergrande didn't try; they were happy with the one each. Songnam kind of tried everything they could, but it didn't look as if anything was going to happen. Then I think it was about 60 minutes. The Evergrande went out to 10 men when the Chinese guy like basically took the Songnam player out by cracking him like just below the windpipe, like with his foot. It was like one of the like ridiculous high feet. But then after 10 men, like Songnam huffed and puffed and didn't really do anything until the brown envelope landed on the referee's table and he gave away like a 96-minute penalty for basically for Jorginho undoing his shirt and falling over. I mean, it was never a penalty. It was like one of the worst penalty calls I've ever seen. 96 minutes, up steps the captain, Kim Do-hyun puts the ball in the back of the net, and Songnam did deserve to win 2-1 based on their play, but probably didn't deserve that dodgy penalty. But 2-1, the only Korean team to win, obviously. But they're going to China now against a team that should have all their players back. Knowing Songnam, it will either be 5-0 Evergrande or 1-0 Songnam. That's just how Songnam have been playing this season.
So presumably the strategy will be go there, park the bus, defend and try and get a 0-0?
Definitely. That's it. The strategy will be just to go there and just hold that 2-1.
Which if any team can actually do, it's probably Songnam. They're
probably
one of the better organised sides that you think can actually go and get a 0-0 when they really have to.
They drew nothing each with Guangzhou RNF at home, and they beat them 1-0 in China. And that nothing each home point was literally like them just testing, can we defend for 90 minutes, and they get a nothing each. And they did it perfectly. They went to China and scored it in the first 5 minutes or so. I think Songnam are capable of scoring. Apart from one game in the group stage, they've scored in every single match. They scored in Thailand, they scored in China, and they scored in Japan. So they are capable of scoring a goal in China, just whether or not they're capable of holding Evergrande to only 2 is a different story. But they do have the best chance of any Korean team, which is not
sure I agree with that. But
okay, maybe
it's probably just a pretty sad indictment of the performance of the Korean teams.
But maybe John Book had the best chance because it is one each. But you would have to imagine that. They scored. Okay, they're not going to get another dodgy penalty again, but I think they're capable. They created enough chances to they should have been 3-0 up before Evergrande scored. To be honest, if they can create chances in China and just take them, then I think they'll go through.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to. It's going to depend how the game goes. If Guangzhou score in 5 minutes, you'll probably get horsed.
Yeah, I would
if
think
it's
so.
60 minutes in and it's still 0-0, you've probably got a good chance.
Yeah.
You went to the Seoul Evergrande game at Sangam earlier.
Yeah, I was impressed by them at all.
Did you see any difference between the Evergrande that played Seoul and the Evergrande that played Songnam, or is it
exact same?
Basically the same.
I don't know if they're relying on their home form.
So what you're saying is that Kim Hak-bom's a tactical genius and Tre's a fucking village idiot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I don't think we needed to wait till last week to recognise that one, Paul.
I think definitely. There's no denying that. Kim Hak-bom knows how to. He knows how to manage that team of players. That's why he signed Kim Do-hyun from Suwon. He said, I'm the only manager who can get him playing. Kim Do-hyun was a disaster at Suwon. He didn't do much at West Brom either.
Yeah.
But Kim has him playing. He has him as captain, and he has him leading that team perfectly. He's getting the best out of Hwang Hee-jo. He's had 3 Brazilians forced upon him, but he's man enough to only pick one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A bit like Che not picking Costa, Rafael
Costa.
Yeah. I think he does know how to manage that team, and he does know how to get results. And I'm pretty confident that he'll go to Guangzhou and get the tactics right. It's just whether or not you can stop 60 million euros worth of attacking force. Do you know what I mean? If they want to score, they'll probably score, and I think that's the difference.
I think a lot of the Seoul fans have been on the message board saying, well, this is the guy that outfoxed us last year in the FA Cup final. He's got good results against Gamba Osaka when we were a complete disaster. He's beaten Guangzhou first time out when we played them 4 times with 3 draws and a loss. So why do people still keep believing in Tre when clearly what we thought were good results are not that good results?
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. I don't really know why people keep believing in Che. Even when
because he's a club legend.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. Is it
I
because
was
of that?
refer them back to the case of Alan Shearer, who, as a player, was a legend for Newcastle. As a manager, he's a pile of shit.
Well, was it the guy who's now Uli Stielik's assistant?
Yeah.
Kim, I can't remember his name. The Songnam legend who led Songnam to their last league victory. He played with Songnam. He's a Songnam. I can't remember his name. I always forget his name. But Kim Hak-bom is a Songnam legend. they won the ACL under him. They're not going to win it this season, but you'd have to say that if they get through this round and if they get into the next round, they're a good enough team to keep going. Do you know what I mean?
So that's the 4 games. So just to wrap things up, what are your thoughts? Are we going to see Mission Impossible achieved? Are we going to have miraculous comebacks this week?
I think, last week we basically said that all 4 teams had a good chance of getting through, but unexpectedly one would crash out. And I think it's looking grim for all 4 clubs, but unexpectedly one of them will make it, at least.
I said 4 teams would make it through. This time I'm going to say 1. I think only Songnam will get through. Which means that all 4 will get through.
Let's hope so.
I say 3 will go through and Songnam will crash out probably. But I understand what you guys think about Jeonbuk and Beijing, but I just think Beijing will do enough to beat them. I think Suwon have no chance, to be honest. I think Suwon have no chance. So I think my money's, if anyone's going to get through, I think it'll be Songnam.
I think Seoul are struggling. I think Jeonbuk is 50-50. Something about Suwon, I don't know. I fancy them to score 2 goals in Japan.
They went to
whether they concede at the same time.
I mean, they went to Australia and scored 3, right? And they conceded 3.
Yeah. They went to Japan and scored 2.
So I think they've definitely got a chance. It's probably not as grim as you might think it is, but they get an early goal. Who knows what might happen.
Yeah. Songnam, I think they'll do it.
I think
got to be positive about at least one team, haven't you?
Songnam is all about the first 30 minutes.
Having said that, I mean, you don't really see Seoul scoring 3 goals, but
I don't think I've ever seen Seoul score 3 goals. I think there's been months when Seoul have not scored 3 goals.
But we're making fun of them for playing binary football in the league, right? Until they scored 3 against Cheonnam recently. But if you take all their Asian Cup and FA Cup matches into result, they've actually gone 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. So they scored 3 against Cheonnam last week, 1 against Gamba midweek. So it's their time to score 3 this time. But again, it's can they keep the clean sheet?
But my concern is that I think Seoul will probably score 2. I think they'll probably win 2-0 and crash out in away goals.
Which would just be enough for Che to say, well,
yeah,
my bad.
That's what I mean.
Keep me in the job for another 6 months.
Enough for Che to keep his job.
We'll find out Tuesday and Wednesday, isn't it, the games?
Yep.
So is it the same as last week, Jeonbuk and Suwon on Tuesday?
Yep.
And Seoul and Songnam on Wednesday?
Yep.
So is it the Mission Impossible theme tune to play us out, Paul?
It is, yes.